innovation, creating capabilities, creating the ecosystem which adds value addition. Value addition is jobs, value addition is economic prosperity. If we look at the capability metrics in this country, we need to create a capability matrix which is deep and a defense industrial base which is not created around it. Now that is the basis on which we will have to nurture the capability. As a country, as we will have to deepen our defense industrial base, and that allows us the thinking power and the power to move things forward. That's the agenda of DIIA. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I'd just like to
He's also a mentor director at DIIA, and he was the ex-chairman of HAL and is an independent director on the board of Air India.
Yeah, just to give you a preamble for DIIA. We as a nation have been for decades together importing defense equipments from abroad, and the often talked about ratio of 70-30 has stayed where it is even after 3 decades, and a promise was made to reverse that. So DIIA is all about self-reliance or swavlambhan, which is can ever depend on sovereignty being hostage to foreign players, where its sovereignty can always be put under doubt in case the foreign OEMs throttle or stop supply of the equipment. Therefore, the need of the hour is for creating indigenous capability, creating technologies and IPs within the country through using our innovation capability, our technical competence, and creating the skill sets that are required for making defense industry an answer to that initiative, where companies, as Rahul said, both big and small are coming together to create that cohesive force which would be able to create technologies and products where India could be totally self-dependent as a self-respecting nation should be. We are all aware that the proud position that India is destined to take in the coming decades, and in that situation it is not possible that for the defense of the nation we are dependent on the foreign OEMs. Towards this end, one of the biggest multiplier is manufacturing. And the defense manufacturing is something which gives you the highest multiplier of 7.5. And therefore, this is what would create the technologies and the growth for the country, and the country that is moving forward to take up the leadership position. DIIA would facilitate through the industry bodies and the industry alliances to create that strength that we could be proudly moving into the next decade with our head held high. The objective is also to take the defense products, not only making it self-reliant within the country, but today's event we are also looking at focusing for, in a defined time frame, if we can become net exporter of defense technology. This would lead to not just creating the capability, but also the much needed defense industrial base, combination of big, small, public, private, MSMEs and the large players all together. That is the objective of DIIA, and we are all here together for that. Thank you. Any questions?
How long has this DIIA been in existence?
About the spirit of DIIA has been for a very long time, but as an organization we are 1.5 years old.
This is one supplementary to even Tata Power, the gentleman. Are you in talks with the Israeli companies to have a tie-up in defense deals?
Many of us, our members were also part of that delegation. So, business to business, the agreements are signed between companies. We have, yes, we recognize the trade, friendship, and the pioneering spirit which Israel has shown on defense technology. And all of it is based on that very notion of self-reliance. In fact, one of the things which the joint declaration of the Prime Minister talks about is Make in India and Make with India. And as defense innovators, we will all wanting to create this ecosystem. Knowledge is important, it's critical, and we need to innovate and we need to create products which are good for India and abroad. So yes, we are working with everybody who is wanting to move forward and create this Indian ecosystem along with friends and partners in different places. Our partner companies were present in that business delegation, and some of them are also part of the signing ceremony.
So over the last few years, the defense sector has been making a lot of initiative with the private sector. During the last 3-4 years, there have been many meetings throughout the country wherever it is. What has been the outcome? How much of production the private sector has taken up as of today? Can you quantify the amount?
Well, as far as the initiative or the empowerment or bringing the private sector into the mainstream of defense procurement, as you're aware, the segment was opened up only in 2001 for the participation of private sector. So it's just been 15 years out of the 76 years odd of independence, and almost about 6 decades of that was predominantly dominated only by the public sector and the PH and the ordnance factories. So while the segment has started opening, a defense which has a long gestation period for any order to take place and get executed, it will take its time before a bulk of orders will start coming to the private industry.
Can I supplement you? I can say that last few years we have seen many private players coming in, good R&D and good products like land systems and so many other things. And I was just reviewing next 2 years, I think based on whatever technical qualification the private sector has done, an order stream of 27,000 crore will be available with the private sector. We are the kind of firm orders which are coming to the private sector. So that way, as Mukesh told, the gestation period is high, but luckily now we are at a phase where these are getting converted, their efforts are getting converted into orders. So we feel that in the times to come, there will be good amount of order and visibility coming to the private sector.
Amongst the orders numbers that you are asking for, what is expected is in the next 5 years, we are looking at close to about $35 to $40 billion worth of orders to be placed. The category of procurement in DPP 16, 5 out of the 6 categories are open for Indian industries, and 4 out of 6 are reserved for Indian industries. And when I talk about Indian industry, it is both public and private. So now it has become orders to the Indian companies. Now how much of it goes to the private sector and how much it goes to the public sector, as long as it's all in India, it is a good thing. The percentage of orders to the private industries would be increasing, as we know that the order books for the PSUs would be much higher, and the capability that is being created would lead to more and more orders coming to the private industry. So it is a start, and I think we have a very, very promising time ahead, and DIIA is focusing on making use of those potential to the entire segment of Indian industry.
What is the strategic partnership three, 4 areas strategic partners were identified and we have cooperated. How is it taking shape?
Well, as far as the strategic partnership is concerned, the policy was announced only last month, just about a month back it has become public. 4 segments have been identified, which includes the helicopters, the fighters, the submarines and the armored fighting vehicle. The policy has been announced and it would need the government to identify, based on the laid down criteria which has been there in the policy, Indian industry as the candidates for the strategic partner. Parallelly, the government would also look for identifying the foreign OEMs for these 4 segments, and after they have identified the candidates who qualify the various technical, financial capability, infrastructure and track record criteria, the selected Indian industries would be issued the RFP in all these 4 segments, and the RFPs would include the likely foreign OEMs with whom they have to tie up for the technology part. The manufacture of all these 4 platforms would happen with the order to Indian industry and in India. The mandated technologies that are required would be the basis of selection of the foreign OEMs, and their names would be given in the RFP itself. The Indian candidates have to tie up with these foreign OEMs and submit 1 proposal each, and the best one would be selected and placed of order to the Indian industry as the strategic partner.
Is it whose responsibility is it to select the OEM? Is it the responsibility of the industry, the Indian industry among these strategic partners, or the government itself will decide this OEM?
This policy has been under discussion for last 2 years. In the first draft, it was the Indian industry that was required to select the foreign partner, and the Indian industry and the government of India were jointly supposed to select a foreign partner, but in the way the policy has been announced last month, the government would select the foreign partner capable of meeting the requirement of the MOD and would include their name in the tender which would be given to the Indian industry. Indian industry would free to speak to all the candidates of the foreign OEM, but can submit the response with only 1. And the best response amongst the Indian strategic partners would be selected, and the best one would be declared the strategic partner for that segment. So government is looking for identifying at least 6 Indian companies for these 4 segments, and would select 1 Indian company for each of these segments to place the first set of orders.
Like helicopters, there will be 6 companies identified.
No, there would be 1 or 2 or 3 companies would be identified for a segment, out of which 1 would be selected as the best, to whom the order would be placed for, say, helicopters.
This question, I would CEO of Tata Pawan. You talked about the 12, I talked about the 12 agreements made. As your own company, any pact would you like to have a tie with like Israel aerospace industries or the defense firms in Israel?
Sir, at this point, but I can say that on those 12 agreements announced, Tata Power SED was not one of the things that I can remember on that day. Yes, we are working with many Israeli companies when we have tie-ups or technology transfer agreements or plans to do joint productions. But that probably requires a separate discussion. Can I just go back to the earlier question on strategic partnership and defense? Strategic partnership also talks about, and government policy also talks about, getting the MSME and the strategic depth created. Strategic depth created. That requires, and that is one of the charters of DIIA, which is what we are today even showcasing, is the Akash, which has created not 1, not 2, but 300 downstream industries and created that defense industrial base. These are the kinds of programs and projects which the government needs to support, because with everything moving absolutely at the fastest rate of strategic partnership, the first orders are probably 3 to 4 years away. We cannot just be sitting tight during that period. We need to create that strategic depth of defense industry value chain, the entire value chain. If the value chain is not created in India, you cannot just expect some miracle and a foreign hand to lift you up in defense industrial production. It will have to be done by us, and that is one of our charters. And I am very happy to see government pushing two very clear agendas forward for Indian industry, which is to put Indian products forward. In fact, SP's biggest clear message to the entire defense community in India is that Indian private sector participation in defense is a new normal. It is about the products they are going to bring in, and you see this going forward in many of the DIIA programs, which today are also have the possibility of exports. And Prime Minister is here in Bangalore. We said in February 2015 that we have to become net exporters. That can happen with our own products and capabilities. And I think the export policy of MOD is talking about that. It's talking about creating a defense ecosystem in this country. And I think that is the critical piece, that we have to create the defense ecosystem. It is no longer private and public, it is Team India. And DIIA represents that thought and that process to move it forward.
Let us not enter into the debate of private sector versus public sector. We need both sectors. Historically, public sectors have been playing a leading role. But now, in the times where technology is changing, where the requirements are changing, the capability mix is changing, I think it will be public sector who will need private sector and vice versa. As far as the concept of a strategic partner is concerned, what we want is that the strategic partner will have a technology control, will have an IPR control, but the strategic partner will work as an integrator. That means we don't expect these strategic partners to be contributing more than 20% of the value of the product. Rest 80% has to be come from the developed tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3 suppliers. Like we expect MSME to play a dominant role. But definitely the intention of government is not to kill one sector and then promote other sector. We need both. So it will be no competition. Even tomorrow there will be a situation where we feel that if private sector is not able to take up the challenge in some particular area, or if the government feels that technologically they will take time, maybe even public sector can be offered. So it is not that at the exclusion of one, the other will go. Entire ecosystem in the country, as Rahul told, it will be developed together. And as their perception is that as far as the public sector is concerned, they have a long order pipeline. In some cases it may be true, in that case the chance will be more with the private sector. And I hope it will be a balance which will be coming and both sectors will lead each other.
In one line to sum, it is neither either or, it is and. Yeah. The strategic partner will supplement the capability already existing in the PSUs, and ultimately the nation, the service headquarters and the MOD is going to balance.